Hey everybody, it's Matt Swires again with the Maverick Method, How to Win the Startup Game, and also founder of the trademark company. And today we have an interesting subject that was brought to my attention by one of my readers. And what I like to call it is beware of anchors masquerading as life preservers. Let me tell you about where this is coming from. So everyone's business, from time to time is going to have a downturn. Hopefully yours never does, but if it does, one of the things is you've really got to be, a little bit savvy to sort of figure out is, in essence, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing, beware of anchors disguised as life preservers. A couple years back, we basically had some issues in one of my companies, and it was touch and go for a little while, and we weren't quite sure we were going to make it. And so you had to go through your progressions, work harder, basically identify what the issue was, et cetera, et cetera. But during this time, I happened to reconnect with one of my old buddies, and of course he is now a life coach, business coach, whatever you want to call it. And he basically said, okay, listen, for the sum of $10,000 per employee, I can do a seminar for your people and basically solve all of your problems magically. And I thought to myself, I'm like, $10,000 per employee, if I had an extra $10,000 per employee in this company, I wouldn't be having the problems that I'm having. And so I thought to myself, I started thinking about this thing like, well, is he just throwing me a line? Is he concerned about my business, or is he only concerned about his business and being opportunistic by giving me the line that everything will be all okay, just give me 10 grand per employee? An anchor in disguise as a life preserver. Okay, so knowing that I wasn't going to spend 10 grand per employee to basically have this coaching, and I'm not even going to evaluate whether or not the actual coaching was great, not great, whatever the case may be. It's just a function of he's trying to sell his product, and you have to understand what his motivation is. All right, so I looked for a local business coach to see if they had any thoughts or concerns on whatever. And likewise, their primary thing was just making sure that my check cashed before they sort of came in and said, okay, this is what you need to do to fix these certain things in the business, et cetera, et cetera. And I sort of knew what had to be done already, but a lot of times people will actually say, if you're more of a novice than I was at the time, bring in a business coach because they've seen this 100 times and they can actually help you out. But once again, the overriding thought that I kept getting from this business coach, this now local business coach, was simply that their biggest concern, of course, was that my check cashed so that they could then come in and start theoretically helping our business. And, in today's day and age, almost everything that you need to know is free right here on YouTube or another great channel with all these different videos. You just search for, business coach, and such, and you can find it. That's not to say that you shouldn't ultimately strive to get a mentor or otherwise. The great Tony Robbins says even he has mentors and such, which is a great thing. Get a mentor, get a business coach when times are good. But when your business is struggling, coming back full circle to this theme of beware of anchors disguised as life preservers, you may not have the funds at that juncture to basically go out and get or spend a whole bunch of money. Because if you do, first of all, if you did have that ability, you're probably not in that much trouble to begin with, and maybe you wouldn't be looking for, that lifeline from somebody. But I've done videos on this, and I talk about this in the book a lot. Remember, when someone gives you advice, okay, whether or not to take that advice, you've got to ask yourself two questions, okay? Do they know what they're talking about, and what's their motivation? What is their interest? Why are they actually giving you this advice? And from the stories I've just told you about the anchor versus the life preserver, one of our big concerns would just simply be is that, well, what's their motivation? Their motivation is their money, not your business. And so right there, they fail that second phase. So again, if you've seen the video that I've done on what's their motivation when you take advice from someone, if not, I strongly advise you take a look at that one as well. But really, that will give you all that you need to know or answer all your questions in regard to whether it's an anchor or a life preserver. So at the end of the day, if your business is struggling or whatnot, what my father would always just simply say, and I still think it's the best advice ever, would just simply be roll your sleeves up there 24 hours in a day, work harder. There you go. But we all need a little bit of help. Get your team together, make sure that they're doing a great job for you, whatever the case may be. But just the number one thing is, remember, beware of people's advice, especially if they have an ulterior motive, which is their own business. Because a lot of times that advice can actually be an anchor trying to disguise itself as a life preserver. Alrighty, and so you don't want to take on that 10,000 per employee, because that may be the anchor that drops your business underneath the water for the last time. Alrighty, listen, I hope you found this helpful. Questions, comments, concerns, throw them right below. Smash like for more additional information. Remember, all this is in the book, and this is based on my dealing with probably over 100,000 companies over the last 20 years. So we've had some experience in helping out people and navigating through the quagmires and just the wonderfulness that is startups. But we all need a little help every once in a while. Again, thanks for watching. Take care.